signal, the electric field, and the gate potential distribution for a MOS capacitor in the depletion region. And we have derived the formula for the thickness, the width of the depletion region, and how much is the amount of charge in the depletion region. Correct? And those formula are as follows. So XD was given by this equation number A, right? And the unit of it is centimeter. And QD, that is the depletion charge density when the MOS capacitor in the depletion region, is given by this formula, where the unit is coulomb per centimeter square. Now we have discussed further that under inversion condition, we have a maximum depletion depth, and the formula for XDM is given by this square root of twice epsilon SI into 2 phi f square divided by Q into Na. This is basically for p-type substrate, silicon substrate. The unit is centimeter, and the maximum depletion region charge, or in the depletion region in the inversion mode, the charge in the that area is called as QBO. Okay, QBO or QD max. So that is given by minus of square root of 2q Na epsilon Si into mod of 2 phi f. The unit is charge per centimeter cube, square charge per centimeter square. Okay, and this happens at surface inversion. So it brings us to a very important topic of threshold voltage, which we are going to discuss right now. Okay, so let us start. So we have discussed so far three operating modes on which the MOS capacitor works, and these three operating modes are accumulation, depletion, and inversion. Okay, so these three are the most important operating regions. Okay, now let's see how they will behave. I mean, what is this threshold voltage and where it is coming from. Okay, so we have plotted over here psi s, which is the surface potential at SiO2 interface, or it is also called as the potential drop across the semiconductor. Okay, and we will also consider this. Let's say we only draw the energy bands. Will only draw the energy bands near the oxide and the semiconductor. So in the first case, we have only drawn EI and EF. Okay. So in the first case, the black color one, we have normally this thing is touching the EF part. So what does that mean is psi s. Okay, just wait. Okay, so this black color boundary is called as SiO2 interface, and this is the energy band diagram or the band bending scenario for gate voltages which are positive. Okay, so whenever a gate voltage is positive, that is greater than 0, your surface potential is also positive. Okay, so we are talking for the reasons for psi s having changed from negative values. Less than 0, it will be accumulation region. Between 0 to twice phi f will be the depletion region, and the region greater than 2 phi f is called as the inversion region. Okay, and now at this first instant that is marked here with black color, EI, it's bending toward and touching the EF part. So what does this mean? Band bending is exactly equal to Q into psi s over here, Q into psi s with a bulk Fermi potential phi f. So at 1 we can say that the surface has become intrinsic. So as we keep increasing the VG gate voltage, right, the surface potential will keep on increasing, which means the band bending will keep on increasing. Okay, so now if the band bending increases beyond phi f is this, right, but beyond the surface potential, this purple color, the second point. Okay, this means that in fact there will be some electrons concentration at SiO2 and Si interface. This means that there is some level of inversion already happening, but the amount of charge which is present at the surface is so less that it is not really considerable. Hence we call this region as weak inversion. So the region when psi s is between phi f and 2 phi f is called as weak inversion. Okay, we have inversion region, but the concentration is not so high. Okay, and Now, on the onset of strong inversion happens only when the surface potential becomes twice phi f. That means the amount of bending over here and over down, it's same. That means it is double. So your amount of bending here will be 2q psi s. Okay. So at point number 3, we say that the surface is completely inverted. So region when the psi s, that is the surface potential, is greater than 2 phi f, greater than or equal to 2 phi f, we call it as a strong inversion region. Okay, so this is the condition for the strong inversion region. Psi s will be equal to twice phi f. Okay, so this is in short the summary of the various scenarios, band bending scenarios, which are positive gate potential. Again, I repeat, the region between less than if the surface potential is less than 0, it is accumulation. Between 0 to twice phi f, it is depletion, and beyond twice phi f, it is called as inversion. And the region between phi f and 2 phi f is called as weak inversion, and beyond that 2 phi f or equal to 2 phi f is called as a strong inversion. So basically we work in this strong inversion area for creating the channel. Now, associated with this, from the depletion mode derivation, the amount of gate voltage we have determined by this formula, that is Vg, given by, but on the onset of strong inversion, when band bending becomes phi f is equal to phi s is equal to twice phi f, psi s is equal to twice phi f, we call the Vg corresponding to this value of surface potential called as the threshold voltage. So what is threshold voltage? The gate voltage when the band bending is equal to, the amount of band bending is equal to twice phi f. That is the threshold voltage denoted by VTO. Okay, so for an ideal MOS capacitor, this is the value. Now over here we have seen that this is psi s, right? Now psi s, if we replace by twice phi f, this becomes the ideal MOS capacitor value of the threshold voltage. So VTO will be given by square root of, the first term is twice q epsilon si into Na into mod of twice phi f
हेलो इंद्रजीत।
Hello, was there a problem, sir? I have allowed you all to mute. I mean unmute. In between, while I was explaining, was I not audible? Hello? Hello, sir? Allow attendees to unmute. Okay. Now I think you all can speak. Any one of you?
हाँ सर, स्क्रीन गया था और ऑडियो भी गया था।
From which part?
वो सब स्टूडेंट्स को भी पूछो। एक्चुअली वो जो आप
Students? Yeah,
इक्वेशन जो
so
बता रहे थे ना, ट्वाइस ऑफ 5 प्लस अंडर रूट ऑफ।
yeah, students, from which part it was not visible? I mean, not audible or visible, the slides. One or two of you can speak, please. Hello?
वीटीओ इक्वल टू वाला जो इक्वेशन है ना,
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, sir.
हाँ, स्क्वायर रूट ऑफ एन ए एंड मॉड
Yes,
ऑफ
sir. Yes,
ट्वाइस
sir.
5। हाँ
I'll
हाँ
continue from there, sir.
हाँ, वहां से स्क्रीन गया था और ऑडियो भी गया था।
Okay, 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 sir. I'll continue.
हाँ
Okay, sorry for the disturbance. So the VTO formula was this. It has four terms basically. First is the potential because of potential drop across the oxide, that is VOX. Then the next term is the potential drop across the semiconductor. The third term phi ms is due to the work function difference between the metal and the semiconductor. And the last term is the oxide charges, which is QOX divided by COX, which is the charges present in the oxide layer. Okay, so this is the okay, got your point. The screen was not visible. Okay, now it is visible. Can some of you can type? So sorry, I didn't realize. I lost my call actually. Okay, fine. I'll repeat again. So this VTO term contains four additional terms. We have this first term over here, which we have seen already. Let me just make it a little bigger. Okay, so VTO term contain four terms over here. First is the potential drop across the oxide VOX. Second term is twice phi F, that is the potential drop across the semiconductor. The third is the phi ms, which is the work function difference between the metal and the semiconductor. And the last term is the QOX upon COX, which is the charges present in the oxide layer. Okay, so there can be fixed charges which are trapped in the oxide layer during the manufacturing process. Okay, so this is the practical MOS capacitor for P silicon substrate. Now, how do we define the threshold voltage? So threshold voltage VTO is defined as the gate voltage required to cause surface inversion. So this is a very important point which you need to remember. Okay, so we have completed the contents of this topic, that is the threshold voltage derivation. Any queries, anyone? I'll just wait for a few seconds, 10 seconds. If you have a doubt or you just write, we can move ahead. No doubts, something. Some indicator key I should move ahead. Is that all right? So for deriving this threshold voltage, we have to discuss all these points. Okay, all these points which are discussed in here. We have to draw the charge profile, electric field, gate potential for the MOSFET in depletion region, and then derive the formula for XD, QD, followed by XDM and QDM. And then we have to see what is the threshold voltage definition, right? And how the modified formula with the non-idealities is for the MOS capacitor. Okay, so with this, we will take a biological break of 10 seconds. So just relax. Just look away from your computer screens. Till then, I'll start with the next topic. Keep the next PDF ready. Okay, so I think we can start now. Fine. So remember, in a MOS capacitor, because of the presence of oxide layer, there is never a current through the MOS capacitor. Okay. So which type of characteristics we have to analyze? We have to analyze the capacitance versus voltage characteristics for a MOS capacitor. There is a CV characteristics with respect to a MOS capacitor. There is no IV characteristics. It cannot happen. Okay. So let's say if you have applied a gate potential, which is a DC potential, right? And due to that gate potential, we have three operating modes depending upon the polarity of the gate potential, that is inversion, accumulation, and depletion, right? So let's say we are slightly incrementally increasing the potential by delta V. So correspondingly, we have a charge Q corresponding to V. So corresponding to your delta V, we will have delta Q charge. So basically, this is not a DC capacitance; it is a small signal capacitance. Okay, if you just change your gate potential by a very small amount by delta V, there will be a change in the charge by the amount delta Q. So your capacitance will be given by delta Q upon delta V. So this is the capacitance of interest which we are interested in. Okay, so here we see over here in the first case, we see the accumulation condition. So these are the charge density distribution in the accumulation region. So over here, we have metal, oxide, and semiconductor denoted by MOS. So when we give an incremental voltage increase, that is delta V, right? The increase in the potential, right? What would happen? So because of small delta V increase, there will be a minus delta Q charge that's get added to the metal. See, because of the applied potential, gate potential, you already have, we have studied accumulation, right? There will be accumulation of charges, that is holes near the SiSiO2 interface, and we have the negative charge on the metal side. So the negative charge on the metal side is denoted by minus Qm, and the positive charge on the semiconductor near the interface is called as Qs. This is due to potential V, gate voltage. Now if we apply the incremental voltage delta V, if we increase the voltage V from V to delta V plus delta V, then what will happen? Your minus delta Q charge will get added onto the metal, represented by this orange color. Okay. Similarly, same amount of plus Q charge at the semiconductor is found out. Okay, near the SiSiO2 interface. So basically, what is happening is this plus delta Q and this minus delta Q charge are actually separated by a distance Tox. So we can say that we have a capacitance over here whose capacitance value is given by Cox is given by epsilon Ox divided by Tox. Okay, the permittivity divided by the distance between the two. It is separated by the charges minus delta Q and plus delta Q. So we will have a capacitance over here, with a dielectric as the SiO2, that is the oxide, and this Cox is the gate oxide capacitance per unit area. That's why we don't have the area term over here. Okay, so this is what we get over here. I have already told you what is QM. QM is the negative charge near metal oxide interface due to the applied gate potential. QS is the positive charge near silicon dioxide interface due to applied gate potential, and delta Q is the incremental increase in the charge. Okay, and COX is the gate oxide capacitance. Now the story slightly changes in case of depletion layer. In depletion layer, what happens is we apply a gate potential, a small positive value. So due to that, what happens? The holes get repelled away from the surface. So they leave behind the immobile acceptor ions denoted by this green region. So over here, when we are in the depletion region, and when we apply an incremental voltage increase delta V, there will be a plus delta Q charge that gets added onto the metal oxide side interface, and whereas your minus delta Q charge is accommodated by increase in the your plus delta Q charge is accommodated by increase in the depletion region width, that is minus delta Q in the semiconductor. Okay, so plus delta Q and minus delta Q are separated by a distance Tox over here. You remember in the depletion region we have a creation of a depletion layer, and depletion layer has a width of xd. Okay, so whenever we apply incremental charge, there will be this incremental charge which is present at the metal side, plus delta Q, and minus delta Q on the semiconductor side. So basically these two charges are separated by Tox distance plus xd distance, but they are made of different material. Tox is the medium of SiO2, and XD we have a semiconductor. So we say that there are two capacitors which are connected in series, but they are both made up of different material, dielectric, material, right? So one capacitance is COX, which is given by epsilon OX upon TOX, right? For in the semiconductor, in SiO2 medium, right, in the oxide medium, and in the semiconductor, we have capacitance, which is given by C depletion epsilon Si divided by XD. So XD is the distance between the two, distance between the charges over here present, right? So over here, the total capacitance will be since the two capacitance are in series, COX and C depletion, the total capacitance will be given by 1 upon CT is equal to 1 upon COX plus 1 upon C depletion. Okay, so these are the capacitance value. So why this happens? Because the medium is different. The permittivity of SiO2 and the permittivity of silicon is different. The permittivity of SiO2 is 3.97, whereas the permittivity of silicon is around 11.7. So they are different materials. That's why we have two different capacitances. Fine. So this is what happens in case of depletion region, and in case of inversion we already see that we apply a large gate potential. Due to that, in addition to your depletion layer, which reaches a maximum value of xdm, we have an inversion charge. Can you just see this pink color line, dark pink color? So that is the inversion charge. What does it indicate? It indicates the creation of a inversion layer by the minority carrier electrons. So minority carrier electrons gets attracted near the SiSiO2 interface due to the applied gate large potential. Okay, so what happens over here is when we give an incremental increase in the potential, what would happen? Because of small delta V increase, there will be a plus delta Q charge that gets added to the metal. So over here, the plus delta Q charge cannot be accommodated by increase in the depletion layer. That means this plus delta Q is not accommodated by minus delta Q over here in the depletion. In fact, the plus delta Q is accommodated by the inversion region charge. So that is this charge over here minus delta Q, it's coming from the inversion layer and not from the depletion layer. Okay. So again, over here, if we can see carefully, the plus delta Q and the minus delta Q are actually separated by a distance of Tox. Okay. So we say that in the inversion condition, your capacitance value will be COX only, which is given by epsilon OX upon Tox. Okay. And now we will be able to plot this characteristics. So this is my CV characteristics. Just concentrate on the gray color curve, which is the low frequency. Now the rate at which we apply this, how fast we are applying this delta V, depending upon that we have a low frequency or a high frequency. Okay, we are applying the gate potential, but the way how fast we apply the incremental change in the voltage, that depends upon the speed, that is the low frequency or high frequency. So for low frequency, we are not changing that delta V very fast, it's very slow. So around 10 hertz and all, 10 hertz is the frequency which we are talking about. Okay, so over here we have divided this CV curve with the x-axis being the gate potential and the y-axis being the capacitance value. Okay, so over here we have three operating regions: accumulation, depletion, and inversion. As you can see, for the gate voltages which are negative, we have accumulation region. For the gate voltages which are slightly positive, we have a depletion region. And for the gate voltages which are beyond the threshold voltage, we have the inversion region. So as we saw in the accumulation condition, we have only the capacitance which is present, which is given by Cox, correct? So in the accumulation region, we have Cox. So let's say Cox, we mark it over here. And then let's say what happens in depletion. In depletion, actually what is happening is your capacitance value, it's reducing. Why it is reducing? Because in reality, what we observe is, just wait, yeah, what we observe is, in case of depletion region, the XD is going on increasing. So if XD increases, your C depletion capacitance decreases. And when two capacitors are in series, and if one of the capacitance decreases, the overall capacitance will decrease. So this decrease in the depletion layer is accounted by like this. Okay, so in the depletion region, we have two capacitances in series. That's why the capacitance is dropped. Okay, and again when we come back to the inversion region, again the capacitance becomes Cox. So again it has to rise to Cox. Okay, so that's why that explains this characteristics at low frequencies. Okay, so now this explains the CV characteristics at low frequency. But what really happens at high frequency? At high frequency, the capacitances in the accumulation and the depletion are completely same as low frequency. But as the MOS capacitor enter the inversion mode, the capacitances changes, the characteristics changes for low and high frequency. For low frequency, it is reaching the minimum value, and then again it is going back to the Cox value. But for high frequency, it is staying at a low value. Now let us understand why. So at high frequency, the CV curve is same in the accumulation and depletion, but when we enter the inversion, the capacitance value remain at a minimum value of C minimum. Okay, so let us understand why the capacitance doesn't reach Cox in inversion mode for higher frequency. So let us understand this. Let us first understand how the inversion charge is recreated. So let us consider one scenario. Let me just okay, come back over here. So now let us concentrate on inversion condition. So increasing the gate potential Vg with respect to body will make sure that capacitor has entered the inversion mode, correct? So as we increase the gate potential, the minority carrier electrons which are present in the P silicon come near the Si-SiO2 interface. So question is, where does this minority carrier come from? Now remember, as we increase the gate potential, the electric field will increase. The electric field will be directed from gate to the body, right? So as the electric field increases, it will disturb the equilibrium concentration of carriers, because electric field will increase the depletion region width. So as we know that depletion region width also increases with the increasing gate potential. So there would be thermal generation inside the depletion region, due to which electron hole pairs are generated. So you see, electron hole pair are getting generated over here like this from the valence band to the conduction band. Okay, so these thermally generated electron hole pair act under the electric field. So since the electric field is directed from left to right, your electrons will be pulled towards the Si-SiO2 interface, whereas the holes will be pushed away from the surface. As a result, these thermally generated electrons will come near the Si-SiO2 interface indicated by this red color, and which forms the inversion region, which is having the inversion charge Qi near the Si-SiO2 interface. And when we try to increase delta V very fast, the thermal generation process itself will take some time to actually generate this electrons hole pair. It's not, see, the minority carrier concentration won't increase so rapidly with the voltage, right? It will take some time. Now, since the thermal generation process takes some times and the minority carriers to build up their population, this will process, the capacitance value will remain there only. I mean, it won't, the electric field, will separate only the electrons and holes, and you will just form an N layer. That is the, the inversion layer will be formed. But at very high frequency, this process will take some time. Okay, so if we increase the delta V very fast, that is at higher frequency, then there is not a sufficient time for minority carriers to respond and generate. Hence, at higher frequency, the incremental charge delta Q is not coming from the inversion charge, but it's coming from the depletion charge. Let us see this. So this is the condition for at higher frequency. Okay, so earlier at lower frequency, the delta Q was coming, minus delta Q was coming from inversion layer, but now it is coming from the depletion charge. So that's why here again we have two capacitances, Cox and C depletion. So that's why at higher frequency the capacitance values stays at minimum, at a minimum capacitance value. Okay, so that's why we have this characteristics which is looking like this. It stays at minimum value at higher frequency. Okay, so this is how the complete CV characteristics looks like. Now there are some additional pointers over here. 2 points. We have a flat band capacitance denoted by CFB, and correspondingly we have a flat band voltage. And also when the capacitance reaches the minimum value, we have a formula for that also. So I will request you all to note down these two formulas. Let me just bring that. Yeah, at XDM we have a minimum gate capacitance which is given by this formula. Kindly note this formula down. C minimum is given by epsilon OX divided by TOX plus epsilon OX divided by epsilon SI into XDM. So this is the C minimum formula. And similarly, the capacitance value at the flat band condition, also note this formula down. So these two formulas will be required in solving the numerical. So after this, we will take a break, a biological break of 30 seconds. So just relax. You can look away from your monitors, just close your eyes and relax once you have finished writing the formula. Okay. So we'll wait for 30 seconds now before we switch on to the next topic. So just look away from your computer screens and just relax your eyes. Okay. So before we, okay, fine, we are back. So before we move on, this CV characteristics itself is very important, because from here we can clearly distinguish that the three operating regions, accumulation, depletion and inversion, and we can locate the threshold voltage, okay, and the flat band voltage on this curve, and we have a information on the minimum and the maximum capacitance from the CV characteristics itself. Okay, so next we will solve two numericals. So all of you, it's time now to use the use the calculator. So the first numerical says, concentrate please. You have to tell me the answers. So the first numerical, in a MOS capacitor with an aluminum gate, the doping concentration in p-type substrate is 10 raised to 16 per centimeter cube. Okay. So what is this 10 raised to 16? Whether it is Na or Nd? You can type. Oxide thickness is 550 angstroms, that is TOX, and temperature is 27 degrees Celsius or 300 degree Kelvin. So what is this 10 raised to 16? It is Na or Nd? Just type. So we have to, till then I'll describe the numerical. Okay. So here we have to calculate the gate oxide capacitance, the maximum depletion region depth, the minimum gate capacitance, the flat band capacitance, and we also have to plot a rough CV curve using the above data. So basically the p-type substrate has always Na. So this 10 raised to 16 per centimeter cube is Na value. Okay, fine. So let us start. First of all, we'll write the given data. Na is given by 10 is to 16 per centimeter cube. Tox is 550 angstroms, that is 550 into 10 is to minus 8 centimeter. And epsilon Ox is epsilon Si2 into epsilon naught, which is 3.97 into 8.854 into 10 is to minus 14 farad per centimeter. So kindly note this data down. I'll give you 10 seconds. So first we find the value of Cox, gate oxide capacitance. So quickly find the value of Cox and tell me the answer. Write the answer in the chat. So Cox is given by epsilon Ox upon Tox, which is 3.97 into 8.854 into 10 is to minus 14 divided by 550 into 10 is to minus 8. Okay, so the unit of Cox will be farad per centimeter square. So you will get in nanofarad, but let me know the answer. Yes, in nanofarad, yeah. Come on, one or more people please reply. How much is the answer? 60, you know, anyone else can give the answer? Yes, yes. So, correct. The answer is 63.9 nanofarad per centimeter square. So the answer is 63.9. Okay. Let me see if I can open the paint and type the answers over there. So till then you all can also 63 point this thing is the answer. That's the correct answer. So let's proceed further. So next you find the maximum depletion region depth, XDM. So this is the formula for XDM. XDM is given by square root of 2 epsilon Si into mod of twice phi f divided by QNA. So for this, phi f is unknown. So first of all, we have to find the phi f value. So what is phi f? Phi f is phi f substrate, which is phi f p, because we have a substrate of p type. So what is phi f p given by kT by q logarithmic Ni upon Na. So please find this value. I guess we have found this value before also. Please find it if you have not. And tell me the value of phi f p. Kindly tell me the value of phi f p. Type in the meeting chat. It will be negative, yes. Yes. Minus 0.349. Correct? To write down these values over here. 0.5 fp is minus 0.35. Correct? And what is epsilon of Si? Epsilon of Si is the product of 11.7 into 8.854 into 10 is to minus 14. So epsilon Si, if you have this product, yesterday we have seen this. It was last lecture we have seen that the product is 10 is to minus 12. So once you have this value, you can calculate the value of, yeah, correct. So we can approximate it to 10 is to minus 12. So once we have the value, kindly calculate XDM now. Kindly calculate XDM and share the answer in the meeting chat. Till then, I'll try to open the paint, but it's taking some time. So XDM value, please. Let me know the XDM value. Okay, the paint has opened up. So I'll use the paint to write the answers. So till then, you calculate the value of. Okay, yeah. So its XDM is coming out to be 29.58 into 10 is to minus 6. That's correct. Okay. So let me write the values over here. Cox, Cox we got it as around 63.91 E minus 9. Correct. I'm not writing the units. Then we got as 5FP, then XDM. XDM, we got the value as, what is the value which we are getting? 29.58 into e raised to minus 6, 10 raised to minus 6. This comes in centimeters. Okay, so these are the values which we are getting for COX and XDM. Correct? Now next is we have to find a value for minimum gate capacitance. So this is the formula for C minimum. Kindly calculate the value. I'll give you half a minute. Quickly write down the formula and calculate the value of C minimum. So the C minimum as per the formula will be epsilon OX divided by TOX plus epsilon OX upon epsilon SiO2, okay, into XDM. Be smart to write in this manner: 3.97 into epsilon naught and 11.7 into epsilon naught. So what's the value of C minimum? Anyone? It will be again in nanofarad per centimeter square. The range will come in that. So calculate the value of C minimum. Let me know the answers in the chat. The C minimum value is, I'm waiting for the answers. Yes, correct. Any more answers, please? Keep coming answers. Please type on the answers over here. So what is the C minimum value? Come on. All of y'all. Please start solving using the calculator and start solving. So one of the answers which I got is 22.62 e raised to minus 9. Please check the answer. Farad per centimeter square. Okay. Yeah, correct. You are getting the correct answer. cm into cm. I am writing centimeter square it is actually. So I am writing cm into cm. I don't have any other provision, so that's why I'm writing this way. Okay, so very good. Next, find the value of flat band capacitance, which is given by this formula. C flat band. I'll give you give you 1 minute. Yes, the correct answer. C minimum is correct. Yes, it is 22.6 nanofarad per centimeter square. Correct it is. Next, find the value of flat band capacitance. CFB. Come on. Flat band capacitance. CFB. What's the value? Substitute and find from the calculator what the calculator gives you. CFB. CFB value. I'll wait patiently for 30 seconds more. Okay, slightly different answer. 7.21. No, it is slightly different than that. Check your calculations patiently. Don't be in a hurry to give the answer. Be thorough in answering this. CFV value. Any of the answers? Please type in the meeting chat. What's the CFV value? Come on. Please write the value. Tell me the value. CFB. I should at least get 1 or 2 right answers. No, I am getting slightly different answers. I don't know what could be the problem. Anyone getting any different answer than this? CFB. 118.118. No. Just cross check it once. I am getting the answer as 51.187 E minus 9. If you get this answer, that means you're correct. Yes, yes, per centimeter square. So CFV value is 51.187 into 10 raised to minus 9 farad per centimeter square. Okay. So we use all this information and we plot the rough estimate of CV characteristics. So you remember over here, let me just open this thing. Your CX value is 63, which is the highest. Next highest value is CFB. Isn't it making sense? CFB 51 point something. Your C minimum is the minimum value 22.62. So it's all going in tandem. So you have to just draw the CV curve for low frequency CV curve basically. Okay. So you can complete this by writing these values over here. Next I'm not solving this. I'm just describing the numerical. So here they have given the boron atom concentration, which is Na only, and they have to find the depletion region charge density at surface inversion and maximum depletion region depth. So I'm not solving this. I will provide this PDF. So they are asking you to find XD max. For XD max, you have to calculate phi f. So first calculate phi f, then calculate QD max. QD max calculate, and then you have to calculate XDM. Okay. So you can use those formulas QD max, XDM and phi f. Only 3 formulas are required to solve this numerical. Okay. So with this, I will end this today's session over here. And next time we are going to start with the threshold voltage. Okay. Let me just unshare the screen and stop with the recording for today.